Today's kind of an interesting webinar that we have. It's a new kind of, I guess, it's a feature of our product. As you guys know, we have JuicedSign, our legally binding e-signature solution built specifically for Quickbase. But today we've actually built onto JuicedSign a new tags configurator. So we're calling it the document template tags configurator. And we're excited to give you guys a little bit more of an introduction to what that is, how you're going to be able to utilize it, and kind of how to upgrade or install this feature into your existing applications now, so you guys can start getting value. One thing that I do want to start off by saying, and Keith, feel free to jump in at any point if you want to mention anything, but this is a beta version currently. So on what's today's date, July 9th, 2025, this is a beta version. In the next couple months, especially if you're watching this video, in the future, this will no longer be a beta. This will be for live release, and anyone who installs JuicedSign into their Quickbase applications will have this feature. So I just want to put that out there. So let me just quickly introduce what is the JuicedSign Tags Configurator. Well, we're providing you an ability to have an updated UI and UX to place and customize your JuicedSign recipient tags. And you're currently tagging just the finished version of your document, right? So it's a nice and easy drag and drop functionality for anyone who's used any other e-signature tools, in your kind of careers. You may have used a drag and drop functionality similar to this, but it's essentially going to allow you to see the document itself and place the tags where you deem them to be fit. Now, one thing that I do want to make sure I point out is that this is for the finished version of your document. So if it's going to be dynamic, meaning the document may change or grow, you want to make sure you're using a special type of tag called an anchor string. And I'm going to get all into that in a second. So before I go in to start explaining the JuicedSign Tags Configurator, I'm going to give everyone a second to pause. Anyone from my team, is there anything you guys want to jump in and say before I continue on? All right, sounds good. So this is just a quick preview to what I'm going to be showing you guys today. And this is just giving you a kind of a hint or just a quick, example of what the screen is going to look like when you open up the tags configurator. Now, this is just a sample quote. I'm actually going to be going through this quote today with you all. You can see that we have our tag types on the right, a sample of the page thumbnail on the left, and then obviously your document itself. And you can see I actually was able to add 2 text box tags, and these are the tags that I dragged over, where you can see I just was able to take the signature and the date sign tags. You see I have them boxed off on the right, and I was able to bring them onto the document for a quick preview on the left. So essentially, it's going to give everyone the ability to see what they're doing, right? In the past, anyone here who's used JuicedSign, and Justin, maybe put in the chat, who here has used JuicedSign, just so we kind of know the audience as well. But for those of you watching in the future, if you've used JuicedSign and you've created a JuicedSign recipient tag by filling out the recipient tags table or record, you know that it could be kind of a tedious process to fill out the fields to identify exactly where you want to have a signature box, for example, land on your document. This is going to essentially eliminate the need to do those by hand. You of course still can, but this is going to give you the ability to do it using this nice UI. So we're excited to see how all of you guys kind of get to work using this and, really see kind of feedback as well. Obviously we say this after every video, but we thrive off of feedback from our clients. Just one thing before I get to the next slide. I mentioned briefly before that this is for really a finished version of your document, right? This is meaning that the document's either static, where the size of it, the number of pages is unchanging, or you're not taking a random document in and kind of doing what we call live tagging. This is for your templates. So if you were to generate an Exact Forms Plus template, for example, this would be a great use case to kind of tag one of your Exact Forms Plus templates as well. So let me just quickly explain the difference between static and dynamic. I know most of you folks on this call may know the difference between these, but those of you in the future, we do use this lingo pretty often, whether it be through, Exact Forms Plus, PDF Merger, any of our other tools, especially with JuicedSign, it makes a big difference. So the difference between static and dynamic documents: a static document is a consistent, non-changing document each time you're generating it, right? It's going to be the exact same work order, purchase order every single time, just maybe 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, but it's going to be the same thing every time, same format. Where a dynamic document is variable, right? The document moves with the data. And that's actually one of the big perks of using Exact Forms Plus is we do very well with dynamic documents. So of course, JuicedSign can, enable the ability to work with those as well. So the document may expand, right? Your template may only be 1 page, but a child table may expand the document to be 20 pages long. So there's different ways where you have to tag your document depending on which type you have, right? If it's static, the way you could tag it may be with page numbers, which is typically not preferred, where if you're doing dynamic, you can use what's called an anchor string, which is going to move with the document. So I always suggest those, and we're going to kind of show you the reasons why today. And of course, the document's varying in format. So when you have a static document, right, you continue to use page numbers, right? I kind of just reiterating this. When you have a dynamic document, you want to use the anchor string. The way you will do this is by including within your document template a unique anchor string, example /S1 for signature one. I almost always recommend that to my clients. So any of you who have worked with me or my team in the past, you'll likely have a /S1, maybe /JS1 in your document somewhere. Where that stands for signature one, /D1, date one, /T1, text one, or title one. That's just a nomenclature that I've learned over the years that I've felt comfortable with, and I've shown many of you guys that method as well. It's not required, it's just an example.
Hey, Matt, can I just jump in a second quick? There was, Don asked a good question. He asked static means no strid, but um, the real thing with static is that the data on the document can change, meaning customer name, PO number, if it's a purchase order agreement, that can change. But what we're saying is it's not going to grow, meaning if it's a 2-page document, it's always going to be a 2-page document. If it's a 1-page document, it's always going to be a 1-page document. So usually if you have an strid, more than likely it probably is potentially going to expand to be more than 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. So the real difference is static means that data could change in it, but the placement of that data will never change. So the first name or last name is always going to appear in the same position in that document. It's never going to expand beyond the page that you originally defined it on.
Thank you, Keith. Right. And again, feel free to jump in at any point. We just want to make sure that you guys kind of understand where we're coming from, because I am going to use this lingo in this video and future videos as well. And I have definitely used it in the past. And we just want to make sure everyone knows the difference, as it is very critical that, when I'm talking to these things, that you understand that as I'm going along. So that is the difference. Thank you for jumping in, Keith. And I believe that is where I'm going to actually start the actual demo itself. So let's just go ahead and kind of start off by talking about how we're going to actually do this, right? So I'm going to bring my screen over now. And what I am landing in is our document templates table, right? So today I'm just going to show you a brief demo of how it works within the document templates table. And then after that, I'm going to go into how you can get this set up within your own applications as well, kind of how you can upgrade if you're an existing JuicedSign customer. So I'm in our demo application where I'm in document template number 7 for our example. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make a new document template, and I'm actually going to use the exact same document that I showed you guys in that PowerPoint. Now, I think that's super easy to do, and it's going to allow me to kind of show you what's going on. But I'm going to pretty much recreate what we already had for document template number 7. So let me just show you what's happening here. One of the biggest changes for the JuicedSign Tags Configurator is we actually added a new file attachment field to the document templates table. So when you're using the Tags Configurator, you need to generate a document that's close to the finished version of what you would like to send out via JuicedSign to a client. So in this sample, we kind of have it's actually a static document. We have a sample JuicedSign EFP template, and it's a PDF. Right, so currently we need to use this as a PDF, where we will soon allow for docx as well. But we generated that sample JuicedSign document as a PDF, and we placed this in this new JuicedSign PDF template field here. And Rohit or Dylan, if you're on, can you just confirm, is that going to be the name of the field when they install this as well? I don't know if you guys
Yes,
know.
yes.
Yeah, it is. Okay, great. Thank you. So you're going to have that file attachment, was saved in there. And what you're actually going to see is I'm just going to quickly show you. These are the tags that are in there right now. So I'm just going to show you, this /JS1/JS2. I'm actually going to open this up and just quickly show you, and then I'm going to recreate it again. So I'm going to hit Launch Tags Configurator. And what's going to come up here is this is going to be kind of your pop-up window where it's going to define some metadata about the document itself. So it's going to tell you the file name, the number of pages that we found, and the orientation, and then the ability to add or remove recipients. So at this point, the add or remove recipients portion is allowing you to say, hey, what do you expect in your recipient string? Do you have one recipient, three recipients, two recipient? So you could add or remove them there. And just as a note, you want to make sure that you have a tag, a signature, initial, or an approve or decline tag for each one of your recipients. So I'm going to hit Proceed to Tags Configurator, and this is going to open up my new tags configurator for me. And as you guys can see, we have the tags already dropped in because they were already created, right? I wanted to make sure I illustrated that. So we have these JuicedSign tags already made. So you're able to edit them again in the future. So you can say, hey, I have these two tags found here and these additional 4 found here at the bottom. And I could also switch between the recipients. So you can see we have 2 different colors. So we have recipient 1's tags and recipient's 2 tags found in purple. You also have the ability, like I was mentioning before, to drag and drop for recipient 1, maybe additional signature tags in. Now you can see a new tag has been applied, and we can change the name, the type of tag, and some tag placement details, which I'm going to go over in a little bit. So I just wanted to show you just a preliminary view of how you're going to get that done. So let's go ahead and recreate this one from scratch. So I'm just going to close this out. And I already started by copying this document. So I'm going to call this, JuicedSign webinar test document. Right? We're going to keep the same CList. The master table is going to be the same. And for the JuicedSign PDF, I'm going to upload that PDF I just saved. So I believe it's called sample EFP template 2 signers MT. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So in this example, you actually don't even need, I don't believe, the template file in here in order to tag it. But you're going to see we have no JuicedSign tags at this time. And we're going to go ahead and hit Launch Tags Configurator. Now you can see I came in here. It doesn't give me any number of recipients because I did not define that yet. So I'm going to hit 2. I'm going to hit Add 2 recipients. And I'm going to proceed to the Tags Configurator. Now what's going to come up is I'm going to have my plain document, no tags found. And I may want to add first my signature tag, right? So let's go down and find that signature tag. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put signature 1 for the client. Actually, we want signature 1 to be Juice. We're going to sign this first. So you see, I can get pretty precise where I want. And the name, we're going to keep the name the same. It's going to say R1 signature 2. That's a default name because it's required that we put in. If you do want to change it, maybe you just want to call it, internal signature. Right? Tag type we know is signature. I just dragged it over from the right. And now the tag placement. Now I can do something unique here, right? I can actually find and attach to the anchor string. And this is where it's super important. I want to make sure I talk about this. Let's just refer back here, right? This is the one that we're trying to mimic. So I know there's a /JS1 on that document somewhere. So I could actually type in /JS1 and hit find and attach. And what this says is we found one occurrence of the text /JS1 in the file. Are you sure you want to add a tag in all such places? Before proceeding, please check your horizontal and vertical offsets. I'm going to hit proceed, and you can see it actually moved it over down a little bit. Now that necessarily wasn't where I wanted it. So maybe now I could take that and I could drag that and I could drag that back up, and you can see my offsets actually respond based off of where I moved it. So now you have your tag defined and you can still move it to meet your needs. So maybe I want to grab it again and I want it just over here. Now I'm going to confirm new offsets, and that's going to be where that tag lives. So, that will also, show up here in the XY axis as well, kind of just showing you where it is. Now, there's a bunch of different additional rules that you can put in, but I'm going to show you guys those at a later time. I'm just going to hit apply changes. And now I'm going to move on to my next tag. So let's see, I now want to do for recipient 2. So I'm going to change my recipient up here in the top left. So now I'm the purple recipient, and you can see the other one's kind of hanging out there, but you're not really seeing it anymore because that's no longer for that first recipient. Now we're working for the second. And I'm going to drag my signature block over here. And you can see I have kind of a recipient 2, signature block number 4. Again, maybe I want to do, client signature. And then tag placement, I could either use this XY placement, which is based off of where I placed it, right? So if I change this around, it's just going to go wherever on the page I decide makes sense. Or, like I was mentioning before, I could use the anchor, which is there. I know it's in my document, right? If I look at this document, I do Control F, I do /JS2. I know it's there. We just haven't hidden it in white. We always prefer to tell people to do that. So now I could use that to say, hey, let me go and put that there. So I can go to find and attach, anchor string /JS2, and find and attach, right? I found one occurrence of JS2, yada, yada, proceed. It moves me down a little bit. Again, that's just kind of where it's found on the document. But if I prefer to move that somewhere else, again, I could just move it wherever I want, and you can see my X and Y offsets respond dynamically to that. Now, maybe I also want to make this a little longer because I believe the signature name may be bigger. You can see the width increase, right? Matthew Tillinghast, super long name. So you want to make sure that's long enough to fit whatever your prospective clients' names are. So we expanded that out a little bit. So now I can confirm new offsets. These are going to save. I'm going to hit apply changes, and I'm going to push this back. All right, so now we have our 2 signature tags. One thing you want to be able to do is save, top right corner, and now you see this pop up, tag modifications. 2 tags were saved in Quickbase. We have recipient tag 1, recipient tag 2. That's what we're naming them in the back end. So realistically now, if I were to close this out and refresh this page, I should see for document template 103, now 2 tags with the correct offsets based off of what I asked for, and knowing that we have our anchor strings set there as well. So now we're in a pretty good spot, right? So I can also kind of come back in. All right, I want to show you guys the ability to edit this. So if I launch tags configurator again, I don't need to change my recipients at all. I'm just going to proceed to the configurator, and we'll see our 2 tags are going to be there kind of waiting for us there at the bottom. A little jumpy there, but right there at the bottom. And you can see the length and width both stayed. So if you wanted to review the tag you already have, you could double click and open up to see exactly where you were previously. So you could always make edits to it if you felt maybe it wasn't where you wanted to be. Now, if I wanted to add some dates, or maybe I wanted to key off of something else, right? Maybe I wanted to have a key off of the word frequency or PO number. Now, if you guys remember in my presentation, I'll just jump back to this. I was saying, or you can anchor to unique text in your document, right? You don't need to use /JS1 or /JS2 or /N. I can say PO number or maybe frequency. So let me put a text tag, right? We'll do that, right? Let's find text. Where'd you go? Text box, right? And I'll put text nowhere near. I'll just put it over here, right? So we have text box. Now I can go for the tag placement text box. Maybe I want to say frequency, colon, and I'm going to say find and attach, right? We found the word frequency once, proceed to put it there, right? So it's going to pop it right on top of frequency. So that's another way you can do this. And it's definitely good to do if you have unique words. But if you have the word maybe date or subscription on a longer document, and you might find it several times, or purchase order number, whatever it might be, client name. That's not always the preferred way to do it if you can find multiple instances of that word. So I just want to make sure I point that out, but it's not to say that you can't do it, right? I'm going to drag it over, maybe make the text box about the size of the entry point. And we like that. We're going to confirm the new offsets, and we're going to have apply changes. Looks like that may not have saved where I wanted it to. Confirm offsets, apply changes. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Let's see. So we have PO number. We could also put another text box, and let's actually do page number for this one, right? So we'll do PO number, and let's move that down a little, move it out a little. And you can see I don't need an anchor string actually. What I could do is with page number. So maybe I know this section at the top here is always going to be on page number 1. If that's the case, you can use page number, which is essentially going to say, hey, on page number 1, and at X position, Y position, place the tag. Maybe you know exactly what you want. Maybe I wanted at 155, right? Or maybe I'll do something a little more drastic, maybe 180. Confirm repositioning, right? See how it moved over? And maybe I want the vertical positioning to be at, let's call it, 750, right? Just so we have it nice and big, right? See how it jumps all the way down? So you might not want that, but you can do it that way. So we'll just pop it back up. It kind of goes to where, it says, right? So it's using that XY position to jump back and forth wherever you want it to be, right? So this is all for recipient 2. Remember, see how it's purple? This is all for recipient 2. Let's say I wanted to jump back to recipient 1 for a second. You see that these tags hide their color, and my beige color kind of comes back for recipient 1. And now I'm able to add maybe a date sign tag. I'll throw it in there. And what I can do is I could even say, hey, I want to find and attach it back to /JS1, right? That's where I had my first one. I think that's a good place to do it. Again, I found one occurrence. You see it jumps back up there. Maybe I want the x-axis now to be 15. Jumps down. That's not enough. Maybe I wanted to do 45, right? So the way I used to do it is I used to sit there and kind of mess around with the XY axis based off of where I felt it might make sense, right? And you have really no way to look at that other than preview. And preview with JuicedSign was awesome. It was something that we didn't necessarily have for any of our other e-signature tools, but this is now almost like an advanced preview, right? You're able to do so much more. So I'm going to go ahead and apply changes. I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to hit save. And again, now I have all of these tags, right? These 5 tags are now saved to Quickbase. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit preview here, right? So what this is going to allow me to do is as I'm going through and adding these tags, I can see where I'm at. So I can now select my recipient to be recipient 1, and the document's going to appear where I could see recipient 1's tags, right? I could see click to sign and the date sign. Now, maybe I want to have that date line right up, right? Now you don't have to go all the way back to your tags in order to do that. I can close this out and I can say, okay, this one has an X offset of 12.21. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to find my date. And I'm going to find, what did I do? I moved that. I lost it. Where's my cancel? We're going to do /JS1. Find and attach, proceed, bring it back. Now we're going to go X offset, Y offset. Let's bring it. Let's take that one, move back here. And let's do the X at 12.1. I think it was 12.21, confirm the offsets. There we go. So now I know that they're going to be on the exact same spot. It might have been 12.1 too. Let's see. So I'm going to hit apply changes, save. And let's hit preview again. Let's see now where it looks. All right, so that's kind of the beauty of kind of what we're trying to show you guys here is we're making this tagging process increasingly more easy for you so that there's just less manual work. All right, I think I was off a little bit. I think I pushed it to the wrong one, but that's okay. No problem. The point is still made. And now if I want to see recipient 2, again, this is going to now open the document back up and give you the preview for recipient 2. You can see the 2 text boxes where they'd be able to put the information. Now, again, maybe on subscription frequency, you guys see, hey, it's maybe just a little up too high. Now you have the ability to move it down, and then you have your click to sign here. So that's kind of the 1, 2, 3 demo. You can see that we have many different tag types available. So we have initials, checkboxes, multiple choice, approve and decline, date, email address, date sign. Just quickly, what's the difference between email and email address? Email, you actually get to write in the email. Email address will use the email you provided from Quickbase. Kind of the same thing with full name or first name, last name. It's either you fill it in or it's what's provided through Quickbase already. And again, now you have your approve or decline tags, etc. So if I maybe, there's some additional validation checks, fonts and formatting, right? You can change this to be an editable signature in an initial. You could change your fonts, bold, italicized, underline, drawn signature settings. There's all of the features and functionality that you would have found, which, by the way, if I refresh this, we'll see all those tags come in. All the features and functionality you would have found from the JuicedSign recipient tags table is there. Essentially, we're just using this as a kind of front end to ensure that you guys can have an easier time navigating this. And I see there's some stuff in the chats. I'm not sure, right, what do we got? Laura said, does signature text fit the box you put, i.e. any font? If you have a shorter box, will method telling us still be in the box suitable for Mike Bone? Is the height of the signature box fixed? No, it's not going to change. I would agree with that. They'll adjust the method telling us Mike Bone according to the fit. Yes. To the email and date fields as examples. And for those of you looking at this in the future, I am reading text on the side. Do the email and date fields as example have built-in regex ability? Good question, Sean.
Yes,
We do.
so they do. Oh, sorry. Hi, this is Rohit. I can take this. Yes, they do. There are two kind of fields, right? There is email and email address. So basically, by email we mean that if it is a preset email, say for example, you do not want it's a recipient email or something, you do not want them to edit, whatever you have in your Quickbase will come up. For email address, yes, they can. You are letting your end users enter an email address, and we have built-in regex for that, yes. And for dates we are going to have preset Quickbase allowed date formats, date fields, etc. You will get that soon as the main upgrade rolls out. And also, if you have a text box, we allow you to you can actually, Matt, can you kindly click on a text box and go to validation checks? Yes, so we have a series of preset patterns if you want to use them. If you want to add your own regex pattern, you can do that as well. But if you want to use this feature, then that has to be a text box type field. And whatever validation pattern you choose or you add, we will match the enter text accordingly, and we will show the validation message that you want to show to your users. Yeah, that's it.
Very good. Exciting stuff. So again, all of this, and I'll just open up one of the JuicedSign recipient tags here. All of this was included, and it still is included within your. I see validation checks actually aren't here, which is interesting, but that's okay. Is included in your abilities now. I have to
No,
jump.
yes, maybe the validation check is not showing in that tab.
Yes,
Maybe it is in
but
the to be supported later last tab. It could be. No, maybe it's in the
that's
table,
fine.
but it's not showing up in the form.
Yeah, it is there. So this is super exciting stuff though. Everything that you're seeing on that screen is going to make your lives easier, right? That's the whole point. That's where we're really trying to get at, is making our customers' lives easier and making you guys have greater success with tagging these JuicedSign documents. And we do know many of you guys have more complex documents than just this. This should work for all of those use cases. But again, whether you're watching this now or if you're watching this in 2 months, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, updates, whatever you want, we're always all ears. You could always reach out to support@juicetech.com. We do want to hear from you. We do want to learn how we can best help. But before I teach you guys how to now install this into your own applications, whether you're a new JuicedSign customer or you're an existing JuicedSign customer, I'm going to open the floor to not only my team, but to you folks as well. If anyone has any questions while I have this up, I'm more than happy to try to demo as best I can whatever question or feature you may want to see. So I'm just going to pause there for a second. My team, did I miss anything that you guys wanted to see?
Yeah, I have a point I want to bring up. On this document here, this looks what I would normally do when I'm setting these up. If you go back to the template table, Matthew, on the first tab. If you're using Exact Forms Plus because you're generating a document you want to sign through Exact Forms Plus, I would go to an existing record and actually generate that document first, and then use that document as your PDF template. So I actually have something that's really gonna, what it's really gonna look like when it goes out to the customer. Because the one Matthew's using here is a template. It wasn't like kind of generated with data in it, but I would actually generate an existing output document from Exact Forms Plus and use that in the JuicedSign PDF template file attachment field.
And just to reiterate what Keith's kind of getting at here, if I wanted to do that, right, in this example, we're doing quotes, so I'll just say, you know, webinar tests, and of course, this will going to be filled out for you. Matthew test, then Matthew JuicedSign.com. Right, this is our regular demo. What this is generating now is, you know, template 1. But I think even one of these is template 7. Template 7, right? Quote to use sample 2, right? I can go ahead and generate this, and I can create this document and use that as my template, right? So this sample now can be my template. So if I save this, quote sample 2 webinar, and I go back, I'll close this out, and I go back to template 103, I could edit and pop in that template. Realistically, oh God, what was that name going to be? Something ridiculous. Anyone get the name of that?
Quote sample 2, 8, 10 webinar, 4 up from where you're at.
4 up where I'm at.
Oh, down. Stop. Right
There
there.
it is. Look at you. No one's
Thanks, Laura.
eagle eyes right on. Let's see. No test lake production. Right. So we have 2 recipients. And if I proceed with this one, now you can see I actually have it with that same information. So it's pretty cool, right? And now you could have it with the filled in information. So that's what Keith was kind of referring to, was by putting in a really finished template, you're going to get the best possible output when you're doing it for real. And now you're sending this document out live via JuicedSign. And Laura, you said, can you take an EFP document, edit it, and then put it through the signature tool? Or does the signature tool need a PDF to consume? It does. To tag it, it does need a PDF, right? So you can edit it. I'm just trying to think, because it's still, Keith, right? The whole point of this is we can't do the live tagging yet. So if Laura were to edit the document, tag it, technically have that as the template, and then put it through and send it, would that work? I think it might.
You can save it as you can edit an EFP document. You can edit it as you like. And thereafter, you can save it as PDF and use that PDF in the file attachment field.
So if you save it as a PDF, though, that's not going, you'd have to then save it and then upload it back into a file attachment field in order for that file attachment field to be consumed as a PDF by JuicedSign. It's just right now, the client uses EF Plus and they have a nasty habit of editing the file after it's made because they realize, oh, there's a thing I didn't do or a tweak I need to make. And so right now they use DocuSign, and obviously I'd rather they move to JuicedSign because it would save them money, which is great, but I don't want to then make it, they're not tech savvy as much as some clients are. And so I don't want to make it to the point where once they click generate proposal, that it generates the PDF, it does all of this, but then they can't fix it because it's already gone through the process of generation and signature
Right.
tagging.
So one thing
that's a good feedback. That I will note that down.
Yep.
We will try to do
One thing about this is it's also you're making kind of the template. So let's say they're changing things or adding things to this document. Notice how I put in a new document and it still worked, right? If they're not changing the meat, say they needed to change the bill to address, this will still work absolutely fine as long as they save it back to this, in this example, this file attachment field on the quotes record, right?
Yeah, it's
They can
just
make,
that level of extra
yeah,
processing that you
saving
have
it
to
back.
drill into them.
Yeah, because I mean, it's really just like as long as they don't change drastically the documents, they can change everything about this document besides the maybe the text box, right? The signature box area, right?
Or the
Everything below
placement
the
of the anchor
bottom.
strings off of which they have originally placed the documents. Like if
Yes.
those are
Yep.
changed, then that's a different issue. But then other than that, yes.
So if let's say I deploy the JuicedSign into this account, and I know you've had this out a while, and this is the first time I've had an opportunity where I really have a use case for it. But you don't tag the EF plus document. You do it through this configurator, which then no.
Well,
Never
let
mind,
me
sorry.
just show you this, right? Because what's behind here, right, in this PDF is just those tags are hidden and embedded in here. So this under this dotted line here, if you were to train them to say, hey, you can change anything you want besides really what's in the dotted line. Even they could really realistically change this, they could change this, they could change this. It's just you can't change the client line because that's where that anchor
Hidden
string
tag
is,
is, yeah.
right? You can change everything else about this document. It wouldn't matter. It's still going to, when you hit send, it's still going to find those tags for us to send it to.
Right.
And just one note, Laura, we don't modify that document. So when we drag and drop a tag in the configurator, it's not really embedding the tag inside of the PDF. It doesn't touch the PDF at all. It's just really a placement at that point. So we're only storing what type of tag and where you want it to appear when our JuicedSign, the add-on itself, actually opens up. So we're not modifying that PDF at all.
So it's like a transparent layer on
It's
top
almost a
of
layer.
a
Exactly.
PDF is, well, when you get this document, this is where
Yes,
you're going to have these tags appear. So I have a quick
absolutely.
question. And so one of the reason, well, the behind is not relevant here. We have a lot of templates, and the signatures, there's either one or there's two, and there's a document for every version of every combination. So if I had 35 templates, do I have to then have 35 sign configurations unless the templates where the signatures go is the same? Let's say templates, TPIDs 1 through 10, the signature page is always going to be one signature in the same space. Do I then assign one signature configuration to those 10 templates?
Yes.
So what you'd want to do, see how we have JuicedSign tags associated to document template 103?
Right.
You could even take this and say, hey, client signature, I know it's going to be the same thing every time. You could copy it and assign it to the next template,
I see. Okay.
right?
But
Because then
I
you
like
just
where
have,
I like where Laura was going with that, because I did this for a customer before. You can create a document template and just have the tags that you want for that document template, and leave that document template alone. It doesn't have to have like an exact fonts plus document template associated with it. It's just really a tagging template, if you will. You can have 35 or 40 other document templates that where you actually generate the documents. Okay. But when you actually do a send to JuicedSign, if you reference the actual templated version of your JuicedSign, for every one of those, it doesn't matter. It'll still place those tags in the same spot for everyone. So technically, you would only need one, let's say, signing template, and you can have 35 exact fonts plus templates. As long as the positioning of those tags are always going to be the same in every one of those, then yeah, you only have to have one set
Right.
of JuicedSign tags. It's a good
Okay.
point. We've done that for customers where they said, all right, I'm just going to create a signature page because all of the other stuff in my document is going to vary so much. I just want to have a sign off page, and I don't want to have to do the same tags for every one of
Over and
those.
yeah.
So I do it once. And then Matthew, if you go to the actual recipient string, I mean, the doc fids, that formula field we have on the quotes, there's one field here. Yep. The agreement doc fids. So in this case, if you're always going to say use template to use is always going to be the signing template. Then no
Right.
matter what template you're using to generate the document, if you make it the signature template in a template to use, that's the one it's going to use when it actually wants to place tags.
Right. Okay.
Just like that. Right. So template number 1 in this case is always going to be used regardless of what file lands in field 123.
Right. Okay. So my trick is I have to stop them from editing Word files and just go straight to PDF, and ideally. Yeah.
And
Well,
best,
in an
yeah,
ideal world, yes, but
yes.
if they
I
do,
w-
it's okay though, right? As long as they don't edit that certain part, right? If you can
Yeah,
at least get them to admit that.
yeah, I was just heartbroken when I said, walk me through what you do now. And she literally brought this document to DocuSign and dragged on these signature blocks. And they do that for every single one. I nearly died. But it's just been a long time coming to where we are now. So,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right. And that's kind of what Matthew was calling before live tagging. What we're showing you now is kind of what we're calling template tagging, meaning we're going to be tagging not, let's say, totally dynamic documents. Next versions, next few versions, we're planning on doing more live tagging or on-demand tagging, if you will. But right now, we're kind of assuming that you have somewhat of an idea of what that document is going to be and where the tags should appear, and we're helping you create that with our document, our recipient tags configurator here.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good questions. Good feedback. So, I just want to also break to another part here. As I promised before, I do want to let you guys know, and especially for those of you who may be watching this in the future, how do I get this, right? How do I get to see this? So the best way, if you are a current JuicedSign customer, or even if you're a current Juiced customer in general, and you would like to start using JuicedSign, is you'd want to log into the Juiced Cloud. Now, if you don't know how to get there, you may have seen me navigating to it before. You can just go to juicetech.com and hit sign in. And if you don't have an account, please reach out to us. We'll make sure we get you in here. But you all should. But I just went to my client ID, and you can navigate down to the JuicedSign tile. When you open up the JuicedSign tile, you want to hit authorize new application. Now, even if your application is already authorized, you still want to hit this if you're trying to do what we call really an upgrade. So you're going to hit authorize new application. I'm going to go ahead and pick a new user token. I'm going to go with this one and hope for the best. I think I have it in this, and I'm going to hit property management, and I'm going to say upgrade setup right here. Upgrade setup. Check it. You'll see once you hit check, finish comes here, right? You're going to ignore the additional steps and you're going to hit finish. Now, I don't believe I have that in there. Yeah, that's just bad luck on that. Let's try this one. Contract management office hours with still upgrade check, finish. And it's taking a little longer, so I'm going to say I got it this time. And what this is going to do is this is going to install the new fields, right, that we need here. So in the JuicedSign recipient tags, you can see there's a couple new fields that we added. And in the document templates table, there's a couple new fields we added. Of course, launch tags configurator being the biggest one. Yep, you can see that we also have a font family here. So really excited to have you guys getting value out of this. This, I believe, and Rohit, Manal, whoever's on the call, this is live, right? If they were to do this now, they would be able to install. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So as of 7/10/2025, this is live and you are able to install this. Again, just mind you, this is a very early version, but if you're watching this video in the future, it may be more robust. There may be more features and functionalities. So please keep an eye out for future videos. We truthfully appreciate all of your guys' business and interest in JuicedSign. Over the past couple of years since JuicedSign's been released, we've had so many amazing use cases. And of course, we want to continue to make this more robust and easier to use for all of our clients. So as always, if there's anything we could do to help you, assist you in getting more value, please let us know. And if there's any feedback just opinions in general about it that, you want to share with us, please do not be shy. Support@juicetech.com anytime. We're always all ears. But I think that's all we have for you today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be back soon with some additional webinars. We have amazing things in the pipeline right now. I don't even want to spoil them, but let's just say you guys are going to see a bunch of new UI, a bunch of new tools coming out real soon. That's really going to wow you guys. So